Have you ever put aside everything to chase one goal?
Look mom, I'm on TV!
I have, more than once. But as life gets more complicated, chasing big dreams gets tougher. My name is Jasper, a 35-year-old amateur cyclist from the Netherlands.
Welcome to another video.
A father of two, and I've got a full-time job. But this has been on my mind for years, finishing in the top 10 of the world's most brutal mountain bike race, the Untamed Cape Epic. Chasing this goal comes at a cost. Lots of money spent in advance, months and months of preparation, 2 weeks away from my family during the race, and the expectations of my sponsors, my viewers, my family, and most of all, myself. If I fail, I lose more than just a race. I can lose my credibility, my motivation, a new friend, and maybe even the unconditional support of my family.
I'm destroyed.
Let's break it down. 8 days of racing the toughest trails on the planet. The steepest climbs you can imagine. And battling against hundreds of other riders. It's a physically grueling and mentally demanding mountain bike race. But also it has fantastic views, awesome trails, and it will create memories of a lifetime. During the Cape Epic, we're riding over 600 kilometers and nearly 17,000 meters of climbing through the South African Western Cape region. Starting in 2004, this is the 20th edition of the Cape Epic. And this edition, the organization raised the bar to another level with more technical single track than ever before to make it a tougher event. During this event, you have to finish every single day to be eligible for an official finisher's medal. Will I make it? This is my story racing Cape Epic.
20 seconds to go.
My life is such a freaking roller coaster right now. I only just finished the Haute Route documentary last week. I got sick 2 days ago. I was in bed with a fever all day. The same night, Daisy doesn't feel well at all and she's pregnant, so she had to go to the hospital to get checked out. The next morning I'm in an airplane to Africa, and tomorrow I'm racing Cape Epic. Whoa, wait, what? Daisy's pregnant? Yeah, a baby girl is expected. Actually, 5 days ago. It's gonna bring some balance to the all boys stuff in the house, I guess. So the evening before I was supposed to leave the Cape Town, Daisy didn't feel well with chest pain and she had to be checked out in the hospital. On top of that, I was having a fever. I feel like this is a deja vu from last year prior to Haute Route. Been having a fever all day, feel absolutely terrible. The kids both had a fever, so I tried to dodge the bullets, but didn't happen. I'm trying to sleep a lot. Hopefully I feel a little bit better tomorrow. I fly to Cape Town, I have to get there for registration, and then all this work, all this preparation into this project. Daisy got home later that night with the okay from the doctors, so even though it was super hard for me to leave my family in this situation, I was in a taxi to the airport early the next morning because I had a goal. So I'll tell you later how I got into the Cape Epic. Let me now quickly go into my preparation for it. With previous experience of multi-day events on the road, like the 5 and 7 day Haute Route series that I've done, I had an idea what was needed to be capable physically. Well, I thought I had an idea.
I'm destroyed. If it's gonna go like this for 8 days, it's gonna be a tough week.
After my post-season break at the end of 2023, I started training for this. About the end of November, giving me roughly 3.5 months to get ready, which is shorter than my previous preparations for summer events, and it was all during winter, so lots of rain and lots of very cold rides.
It's 2 weeks out to Cape Epic. I'm in Bilbao today. The weather is absolute shit. We're riding in the rain for an hour now, and I still have 3 hours to go. Train needs to be done. There's no other option. 2 hours later, still in the rain.
In Africa it's summer while we are here in the winter, so the temperature shock was going to be brutal and the conditions to prepare were far from optimal. So lots of indoor riding to get the hours in, and I started doing some heat acclimatization.
These are my socks. What?
Basically wearing extra clothing outside or inside on the trainer, not turning the fan on, to raise my core temperature on purpose. I came across this core sensor in my research and I got one to monitor my body during these workouts, and I figured I can use it during my races. Besides that, I try to get as much time on my mountain bike as possible. With a mountain bike trail an hour away from my house, that meant a lot of road kilometers on the mountain bike in combination with those single tracks. Well, you can also call it easy tracks, because I didn't know it yet, but whatever I trained on back home was nowhere near representing the brutal trails I was going to face in Africa.
Well, dude, I've done a little bit of mountain biking, but this is something different, eh?
Oh yeah.
Holy what? Dude, I hate fucking rocks.
It was a 12-hour flight from Amsterdam to Cape Town, so by the time I got there, it was dark, it was late, and my fever had been down during the day, but I started to feel worse again as the day progressed, and all I could think of was just getting in bed ASAP.
I have arrived. Holy crap. It was quite a long trip. It's past midnight. I can't wait to go into the room and sleep and then see how I'm feeling tomorrow. I was okay today, but started feeling a bit shitty, so.
The next day was the day before the 8-day race would start, and it was time for registration. The race would start off with the Prologue, which is a team time trial to get your start time for the rest of the week. I didn't feel great, but I had to unpack my bike to get it ready in case I would actually be racing the next day. We planned to pre-ride the course on this day, and I say we because Cape Epic is done in a 2-man team. You must always ride with your teammate and cross the finish together to get a result. So who's my teammate? I signed up with a Finnish guy called Sami Inkinen. I met Sami at the Haute Route Pyrenees 2 years ago, where I tried to beat him, that didn't work. Then I worked with him to beat others.
Back in the top 10.
Just before we celebrated at the finish together, because big boys rule.
I tried to catch this guy yesterday. I couldn't do it. Today he helped me pull. I think
yeah, that's nice teamwork.
we made it in the top
Big
5.
boys, 80k plus boys.
The big boys show how it's done on the Porte last time today.
That was awesome.
Thanks,
That was
man.
great memory. Seriously. I loved every moment of it.
Sami is actually a bit older than me, with 46 years of experience, and he's strong like a Viking. This guy is an endurance beast with a sub 9-hour Kona full Ironman, and he's got the world record of rowing from California to Hawaii in 45 days with his wife. So they're actually both very badass. Our backgrounds are completely different. He lives in Colorado in the United States at 2,500 meters of elevation in mountainous terrain, and I below sea level in a pancake flat country.
A team is only as strong as the weakest link, and I knew I had to bring my A game to be able to meet Sami's endurance. I prepared as good as I could, as I hate being the weaker rider. Towards the race we had a few video calls just to fill out each other on our progress, and Sami could share his previous experience with the race. We established some goals and expectations towards ourselves and each other with the following priorities. Number 1. Safety. No big accidents and get home in one piece. Number 2. Finish the race as friends. No hating on each other during this week. And 3. Race as fast as we can. Having a top 10 as a solid goal. Personally, I had a top 5 in my mind all year, if I would be in a good condition. The crazy thing is, apart from these chats and the 5 days we shared on the road back in 2022, we never trained or met each other till the day before the race. But it turned out we would be a match made in heaven.
Oh, look at this! Famous from TV. How's it going?
So how did I actually end up racing the Cape Epic together with Sami? I noticed on STRAVA that he was racing the Cape Epic last year. Unfortunately, his teammate got sick, so they couldn't really push for any results. And I commented on one of his STRAVA rides that if he ever needed a teammate, I'd be down for it. And that's it. He was looking for a buddy to ride the Cape Epic with this year, and he asked me if I wanted to join his team. And that's how I pretty much signed my death sentence. Being teamed up with a guy that's stronger than myself and that beat me in the past would make me work harder than ever to keep up and not let him down.
The next day.
Today was registration day, so we had to go and pick up our race numbers. In the morning I had already decided not to do a recon of the Prologue because I could only make my body worse. I was still feeling completely shit. So we just rolled out a few kilometers towards the starting village to get our stuff.
We made it, bro.
Oh yeah, good start.
Fuck. First part of this challenge to make it out here in Africa. Just went to registration, picked up our numbers and stuff. I am not riding today because I'm still not feeling that good. Sammy's doing a pre-ride of the Prologue course. Prologue is tomorrow. So it's basically a team time trial. Set our time, set our start box for stage 1. So it is quite important, but I really need to rest and hope that I feel good tomorrow. Luckily it's not super hot today, so I can kind of get into it slowly.
From there, Sami went to pre-ride the Prologue and I went back to bed.
It's 5:45. I'm still not feeling good. Checking my temperature like throughout the day. 38 again just now. So fever went away yesterday, but it's back. I shaved my beard, so I'll look a bit better on the video. You know, I don't want to be that guy that's always sick. It feels like a deja vu of Haute Route last summer. And in Haute Route I performed super good, right? But I think right now I might be more sick than I was then. I just keep my fingers crossed. It's kind of stupid to have the same freaking story as Haute Route. Like, oh, I got sick the day before and look how good I'm performing, whatever. I'm not counting on the same happening here. So I'm just expecting the worst for tomorrow. It's just really shit. Another couple months of preparation. Shitload of obligations to sponsors, teammates, viewers, everything. I know you guys are gonna say, Jasper, it doesn't matter, you know, if you don't feel well, just don't ride, we'll still watch your videos, blah blah blah. But my YouTube channel is also a business. I've got sponsorship deals with brands. They're counting on me riding this race and making content. They're paying, you know, my expenses and stuff. So
Later that same evening.
whatever I'm feeling about today, I just reached 100k. 100,000 subscribers. I'm gonna go to sleep and I wish myself the best for tomorrow. Yes! Took a long time.
The next morning.
The morning of the Prologue was an important moment. I was gonna make a decision to start or not, depending on my fever situation. The fever had been on and off for the last 3 days, but luckily the morning of the Prologue it was gone and I felt okay, so I decided to get into my race kit.
Alright, day 1 of the race, the Prologue. I slept actually really good last night. Woke up this morning, I was okay. Right now I feel reasonable. We're trying to get a warm-up. We start in an hour. It's crazy how the views are here. I haven't been able to appreciate this yesterday because I was feeling so crap, but right now I think I'm okay. I'm gonna monitor how I feel very carefully all day, not to mess this up for the rest of the week.
Those jerseys are fucking sick, Jasper. Yeah, thanks. Very, very cool.
So the jerseys that we are wearing, that's a custom Sirocco M3 jersey. For this race, you have to ride with the same jersey as a team. And I got the support from Sirocco to design a custom jersey, especially for this race, and to make this super cool race kit. It's inspired by an African tribal shirt, and it's got the sponsors of the team on the jersey. So we're gonna start the Prologue. That's a team time trial. The first race of this week is gonna be just me and Sami starting off together and then setting a time as fast as we could on this 26-kilometer mountain bike course with 1,050 meters of climb.
The only finish I know is Habuya Perke.
Yes, here is the first race, the first day out of 8 consecutive days of racing. I was so happy to be at the start line and not have this whole event be a big failure before we even started. During this race I would go 100% by feel, not to overdo it. I had to take it easy. The Prologue was only 26k, so that meant it was gonna be short and intense, full gas, but I had to pace myself, and me and Sami communicated this. I would say if we could go faster or slower, he was gonna do all the pulling on this day. So as we roll out the race village, let me just go quickly over the other few sponsors that I have, because Sirocco is doing the race kit, but I've got a few big sponsors that have allowed me to actually race this race, starting with Verkuijl. Verkuijl is the company of Sami actually, and they're doing their best to revert type 2 diabetes with people by coaching them on their diet. And Verkuijl was the main financial sponsor. Believe it or not, the entry fee of Cape Epic is almost 8,000 euros, so you need money to race this race. The bike I'm riding, Bikes Online, hooked me up at the last moment, and I'm very, very thankful for them, because this bike is freaking awesome. I'm racing on the Superior XF full suspension mountain bike. It's got custom wheels from Wheeltech and a funky handlebar that I talk more about in my bike check video, and I've got a full video building these amazing custom wheels with bird spokes. Then we've got Eat My Ride. It's a sponsor of the channel that gives me ongoing support. The app allows me to plan my nutrition for rides and races. If you're new to nutrition, if you want to optimize your nutrition, make sure to check that out. And then we've got the Optimize Wax, providing the chain with wax, keep my chain running smooth as possible in these brutal conditions in Africa.
Brian's bones. So far so good, man.
It was a mix of very dusty single tracks, big and fast Jeep tracks, and some steep and narrow switchback climbs, and also a pretty cool Toyota Tough downhill section. Every stage will have a Toyota Tough section, which is kind of chosen to be the most difficult or most spectacular downhill of the day. For me, everything was quite difficult, everything was quite different, and everything was spectacular and absolutely epic. Compared to the mountain biking that I've done back home in the Netherlands, this is another world, and so much more technical and so much harder for the body. And today, even though I thought it was quite hard, it turned out to be a very easy day compared to the rest of the week. So lots more to go. On the bike, I didn't feel strong, but also I didn't feel miserable. The only thing I was struggling with was to keep my focus. And I was making lots of small mistakes, and even in the last 100 meters, I crashed in a very stupid way, went over the bars, luckily not really hurting myself, and I could get up and continue pretty quickly. And we crossed the line. Eventually I had a pretty good feeling. So I've got separate videos actually of each race day to show you a more detailed race recap. So make sure you check out all of those videos. It's going to be 8 separate videos of every race day going online every consecutive day after this one.
That was just a stupid crash at the end.
That was perfect. Perfect prologue.
Okay, Prologue in the books.
That was good effort.
We survived it.
Real accidents. It was fun.
Yeah, just a little stupid crash at the end.
You did a somersault. Alright, that was well done. What an awesome start.
Bikes go straight into a washing station and then into a big truck to stage 1 tomorrow. So we're not gonna see the bikes back until tomorrow.
Unless you've got... Alright. That's mine. Thank you.
Fresh and clean.
Thank you.
After the race, we got into a bus to Tulbach, the town of the next race village, where stage 1, 2 and 3 would take place. Along the way, the views were just getting better and better. And it was about an hour and a half drive to the village, where we now had to find our bikes and our luggage.
Been hanging out at the race village for a little bit. Had to search for it, but we found our luggage. Bikes didn't arrive yet. Maybe they arrived late at night, so hopefully we see those back tomorrow morning. We got the luggage. I brought something on wheels this time, and now we are walking to the road because we're gonna take a taxi. Sami booked us some Airbnbs. There's big camps with tents in this rider village, which is the usual way to go. However, we're trying to boost comfort and performance by taking the more comfortable housing during the nights. Yeah, how's that?
Cool down.
After the prologue, we do an extra little bit of workout to get our bags here.
I'm sure it was going to be a fun experience to sleeping in the tent, but we were serious about our performance and Sami had scouted for a few spots to sleep this week. Just getting there and back wasn't easy with no Uber or any taxi service available in this area. But we got lucky, we found a gentleman that was actually available. We called him up and he was able to pick us up within like 20 minutes and drop us off at our apartment. And also he was available for the next 2 days to bring us to the race village and back. The rest of the day we spent grocery shopping and of course eating a lot of carbs.
Quarter to 7. Stage 1 is almost about to begin. Quite cold actually right now. We're in the A coral, so in the first group, a little bit of warm up before we start.
This was the first real stage of the complete race. 90 kilometers with 2450 meters of climbing. Super excited for the unknown that was ahead. We had the 10th time in the prologue yesterday, so we're starting in the A bunch. That's the first wave of teams to start after the pro men and women, with a 13-minute time gap behind them. Unlike the prologue, this was a mass start and was going to be important to position ourselves well throughout the race, especially getting onto that first single track.
4, 3, 2, 1, go! That is on its way. It's going to be a big down the bike. They head to the beautiful Tulbach morning.
We did great on that, entering the trails as the 5th team, including all categories. Our category is the amateur men, 19 and over, with the white bib numbers on the back. And then there's the masters, 40 plus, which we'll see most of them in the rest of the week. They have got blue numbers. And then the masters, 50 and 60 plus, with purple and gray numbers. The Latvian team, wannabe pro cyclists, they took the fastest time on the prologue in the amateur 19 and over. And these dudes are former biathlon Olympic athletes and they're now transferred to mountain biking. They're super strong and they were just faster than anyone else in this race. In the masters, we've got the German guy Karl Platz, a legend in Cape Epic, winning it 5 times from the very first edition ever in 2004. And then racing it every consecutive
year. His teammate is the Spanish Thomas Miser, and he's a multi-world champion downhill and cross-country, you name it. So even though the other categories were not directly our competitors, it was great to ride with them and to battle it out throughout the week. In our category, there were also a lot of strong riders, but this being the first day racing them, we had no idea who to look out for yet. But further in the week, you will see us closely racing against some Swiss riders and some Colombian riders, and a few local South African teams were also in the mix. One factor that would come back each day is overtaking the pro women riders that started 30 minutes ahead of us. On the first climb, we already got stuck behind them, and that made it really hard for us to stay with the other riders that we were racing against.
One more. Yeah, it's gone. Yeah, one more.
Go, 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 go!
One more. Okay, try to keep it steady. A bit of a connection on the single track because of all the pro women are in between, so now I have to make it up.
During this race we had to stop multiple times at the feed zones to fill up our water. With 4 to 5 hours of racing and 35 degrees Celsius, we needed to drink a lot, and there was no way but to stop since we were riding without hydration packs. This would save us carrying all the weight, but yeah, we had to stop more often than the other teams that would either have sideline support or these hydration packs. It was a long race with 3 more tough climbs. We were starting to struggle more and more as we got further in the race. Just like the day before, I was struggling with my focus and I started making lots of mistakes on the downhills.
From Finland, Jasper Verkuijl from the Netherlands. Great work, gentlemen. Let's give Sam and Jasper a big shout as they go up that nasty little hill.
This part is going to be really steep. Look, Mom, I'm on TV. descent. Sorry. Oh, fuck. Sorry, man.
No worries. 32.
Because of the early split in the field when we were overtaking the ladies and the delay that we got while filling up our bottles, the rest of the day just felt like sort of a time trial again. Just pushing as hard as possible to get to that finish line. This is difficult on the way on the level. Holy crap. Man, I'm missing a lot of focus.
Of Cesar Alonso and Oscar Munoz, which shows you how good they are because they started 5 minutes at the start of the stage, showing you how good the women's UCI competition is.
We had actually a very good result today, getting 3rd spot with a time of 4 hours and 20 minutes, and that put us in the 4th spot in the GC, so a big leap up from yesterday's prologue. Fuck.
So 7 minutes back we go to Los Angeles STRAVA, which might seem a lot, but as we've seen in the past MTK Epics, a lot can happen over the 8 days.
Oh man, I'm really hurting right now. I hit a rock with my hand. I crashed. I got cramps. My hands are freaking sore. Dude. Really strong ride today.
Welcome to Africa. It was fun.
20 minutes later.
Man, I'm destroyed. If it's gonna go like this for 8 days, it's gonna be a tough week. Trying to get in some recovery food. These are our tents. Sami took care of the upgraded tent package. We also have the Airbnb, so we've got quite a luxury situation. But it's really nice to have a place where we just sit and have our stuff during the race. So we're just trying to get organized, maybe get a shower, and then, I don't know, check the results. For this week, we had a bike mechanics team that would service our bikes every day. Daniel's taking care of my bike. Included in the standard package of Cape Epic is a bike wash after the race,
but they are separate companies that offer full mechanical service. So they will fix anything on your bike in case you need it. And we wouldn't have to worry about fixing our bikes after the race every single time. So after the first day, we already changed my shock pressure quite a bit, and that would change more and more along the week, as I was just inexperienced on this part, and it turned out that I was riding way too high of a pressure, especially with all the rocks and the bumpy trails. This was putting so much strain on my arms. I was just having arm pump a lot. Also, after the race, I topped up my chain with some optimized chain wax. I took 3 hot wax chains with me, and I was planning on swapping the chains after every 2 stages and using the drip wax in between to get the performance as good as possible. I've been using the optimized wax for over a year, and I've tested thoroughly in different conditions. But the Cape Epic was another level. Well, Optimize is also a sponsor for this race, and their name was on the jersey. If you guys are looking for some chain wax, use the link in my description or in the top comment and get some discount on their products and keep your chain smooth and fast.
The afternoon after stage 1, so the second race, day 4 in Africa. I must say this is quite a different experience from like all of the whole route series that I've done. First, because we're in Africa and not in Italy or France. Second, the mountain biking is just so much more taxing than riding on the road. By the time you get up to a very, very steep climb, you immediately go into a descent which is just non-stop rocks and switchbacks and tree roots. And I did 2 races, I crashed twice. Both were very like soft, so that's lucky, but I have a hard time focusing when I get tired. Like in the second half of the race, I just had to sort of go slow, not to lose control. And they don't call it the Untamed mountain bike race for nothing. But also, we're in Africa, so everything is different. The supermarkets are different, the food is different. We don't stay in the Cape Epic village where all the tents are, because we're trying to, not that if you go there you get sick, but we're trying not to get sick. And you know, the big buffets in the big tent with a lot of people, there's a bigger risk of, you know, catching anything. Every year there's a lot of people going out with diarrhea complaints, so we're trying to, you know, buy our own food or make our own food, whatever. So went to the supermarket, just eating some stuff. So far, it's been tough. Now I need to eat, because when I got here I was sick, so I didn't focus on eating at all. So I'm a bit behind on proper nutrition and carb loading and everything, so trying to catch up.
Alright, it's time for stage 2, 93 kilometers, 2200 meters of climbing. The second time from Tulbagh. It was a cold morning. After a short warm-up, we got into the start box for what was going to be one of the most painful days on the bike that I've had so far. Starting with 10 kilometers flat before the sun got over the horizon, it was still nice and cool. And it was very important to get into a position again before we would go up the wagon trail. The whole bunch was a bit more nervous than the day before, as everybody now knew how important it was to be in the front.
And the wagon trail isn't really designed for bikes. I wouldn't call a mountain bike single track. It's maybe okay for a horse, maybe to hike, but riding this was just a nightmare. And just like yesterday, we caught up with the pro women very quickly. And this caused a lot of frustration and splits up in our group along the way. We had to hike and bike and climb and struggle to get up the wagon trail, and my back started hurting a lot already in this first part of the race. It was about a 10-kilometer climb and it took us almost an hour to get up there, climbing the 800 meters of elevation. If I would be there on my own, before I got halfway I would definitely have turned around and not continue. It was that terrible to ride up this, but now I was in this race and obviously I wasn't gonna stop. On top of the ridge it would be about 50 kilometers of alternating jeep tracks and some single tracks. We had lost connection with the riders of our category, so we just rode as hard as we could to catch up.
Go, go, go!
We Swiss guys of Team Alilili, we rode a bit and then we had to stop at the feed zone to fill up our bottles, and that's where we lost them again.
Water. Where's the water?
With the lights off. Team day here.
Dude, I hate fucking rocks.
Somewhere in the middle, we rode with the Pro Women's lead group for a bit before we were overtaking them on this very wide stretch. Filling up our bottles one more time before the last climb up and over the ridge and then down that same tough trail that we came up in the morning. My hands and forearms were hurting so bad. It was so hard to control the bike and to brake on this descent. It was awful.
Yeah, go.
This trail was no joke, seeing multiple riders with broken bikes and my lower back was about to fall apart.
Shortly behind us. I'll tell you when to move. Okay, move.
After this extremely tough stage in 35-degree heat and these crazy thrills, we got 3rd place in a time of 4 hours and 57 minutes, bumping us up to the 3rd in the GC, which was absolutely amazing and for me unexpected, but the week was still very long.
Well done.
Everybody
That was amazing.
that is in our chill zone.
No easy days.
Behind our UCI women as
No
next week.
easy
Say
days.
Thank you.
It's 5:10. Stage 3 today. My back is really sore. The muscles, my lower back muscles are totally cramped up from all the climbing on the rocks yesterday. My legs feel fine, but my back is really gonna be the limiting factor, I think, this week. So today supposedly there's a big long climb on the road, which will be nice. It's a transition stage to Wellington. I really hope that the terrain is going to be a little less rough than yesterday. Otherwise, I don't know. But so far we're doing really good. The body is definitely hurting.
So every morning we would pick up our bike at the mechanical service tent. They washed it, they checked the gears, everything was adjusted how we needed and it was ready for another race day. All we had to do is just double check our tire pressure and we go.
3, 2, 1, go! Good luck, Tyler. Music Million going on his way. Good luck, gentlemen. Morris at the back along with the Uzon.
We started off on some wider roads with lots of winds, but it was not enough to break up the back. So it was actually pretty nice to sit in the draft fork. The speed was high and it was relatively flat, so more suitable to my style of racing. Stage 3 was a transition stage to Wellington. 94 kilometers, 2100 meters of climbing meant we would finish in a different location and we would see different trails and some different surroundings today. Another big stage with significant climbs, of which one was a very long climb on the road, the Bijnskloof Pass. With this road segment you may think it was an easy day, but nothing is easy in Cape Epic. After about 15 kilometers we started climbing and the pace was fierce again. Again we were on incredibly difficult terrain with super steep gradients and nothing but pointy and loose rocks. After the grueling day of yesterday, all I wanted to do is just be careful with my lower back as much as possible. I didn't know if I was able to do that. After the stage of yesterday, I was not sure if I would even be able to finish today. Found some of the other riders again to form a group and going up and down pretty fast.
We were riding with the South African Masters team and the Colombian guys from Team Portugal. They were really fast today and not far behind us in the GC, so definitely guys to keep an eye on.
Just had a quick stop at the feed point. We'll be catching up with those masters.
Here, Jasper. Good job. Yeah, that's the third of our UCI women's team. I think it was Vera, if I'm not wrong. So Vera, our women's teams to come through. Your bottles are out. You can now. Yeah.
In the feed zones, we had to stop again for water and supplies. This made us chase hard again back to those riders, but we managed to do so just before this long tarmac climb started. Rotating with this bunch of legends for me was just a struggle for dear life, just to hold on, and I was so happy that I didn't have to drop out. Sami was taking hard pulls and I had to tell him to take it easy, otherwise I would just not be able to follow the pace. Downhill was freaking awesome, super fast, super fun. And after this there were 4 more short but super steep climbs coming. These were of the category leaning forward all the way or you land on your back. So yeah, kind of tough day today in the saddle.
It's clean. It's clean.
Good grime on the photo. Holy crap.
So
I would be tending. Almost on the last summit, and then mostly downhill.
It was the 4th race out of 8, so still a long way to go. I was still struggling to really push myself, but I did notice an improvement since the prologue. Sami was doing most of the pulling again towards the finish, and in 4 hours and 18 minutes of race time we got the 4th spot today, and we managed to keep our 3rd spot in the GC.
Nice. Great job. Strong race. Strong. I know you have really a lot of trust in your tires on the tarmac.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it was awesome. It's 5:45, March 21, stage 4 today. It's still early, so the whole village is still kind of asleep. Just picking up our SOS sensor. Good, like everyone will have one of these safety things. If you crash hard, then you press the button. We were staying in some kind of farm thing outside of town. Super nice driver. We managed to get a hold of him yesterday and asked him to come back this morning. He was there right on time, so that's super great. We managed to get pretty good sleep. I get out of the heat yesterday afternoon because it was so hot. Today's stage is shortened a bit because of the heat. The first thing is we're gonna find our bikes, which are at the service. Yesterday I had issues with my seat post. It was twisting at the top, so it couldn't really be fixed on the spot. So they replaced my drop post.
Stage 4, the Queen stage with 88 kilometers and 3,000 meters of elevation. The organization decided to shorten the race to 73 kilometers, taking out one climb and about 15 kilometers of the course, which probably would save us about an hour of race time. Today we had found a spot nicely up front at the start line, which would save us a bit of elbowing in the beginning of the race. I'm shooting in a gel just before the race starts. This is kind of my usual strategy, and for the rest, just concentration and trying to stay cool for the start.
3, 2, 1, go! Good luck to our start of this morning. And at the back
beginning was a lot of wider roads and a lot of double tracks. The pace was super high nevertheless. We could position well in the front with a tricky descent full of long gutters that would make it easy to crash. It was important to keep sharp.
My forearms are really hurting me from all the shocks and the braking all week. I'm really not used to this, so having a hard time with that.
First feed zone was passed and we're going full send in the peloton.
Category jerseys, or the second of our category jerseys, come through.
I like the ponytail. 56 minutes, second big climb. It's already really hot. $28.5K. The top should be at 30. And we should be able to get some water. 1 hour 27 in the race. I'm out of water.
With the shortened race, because of the heat, the organization also put in extra water points. They should come up every 10 kilometers, but at this point we didn't really know where they would be and we missed them, leaving us without water for a while. The heat on this day was quite extreme, so it was a good thing that it was shortened because it was super tough, and it was tough enough as it was. After we had missed the second water point, I was getting a bit worried to be riding in these conditions without water. I was definitely on the limit in terms of body temperature, and I didn't have any headaches yet, but I could just feel the restriction of my body. I just couldn't go any faster. I was pushing as hard as I could. It was just enough to hang on to this group,
but impossible to go any faster than I was already doing.
Next time I'm gonna bring a donkey.
Fucking racehorse, yeah, not a
Yeah, oh yeah, you're right. Hey, was the top, no feed zone. Crazy to the descent. On your sixth. Okay, 2 hours in, 37k, still no feed zone. I think the other guy said 38k, should be a water point.
On the 7 peaks, we got up again with Team Ali Lili, but then Team Portugal, they were gone and we never saw them back all day. They were really fast today.
Can't see where I'm going. Fucking hell. Two and a half hours in. Still no aid station. Finally water.
At the bottom we finally passed a feed zone after being empty for about an hour. We really took everything we needed. I was dumping cold water over myself to cool down, drinking extra and putting some ice in those socks that we had and then put it in the back of our jerseys.
Thank you very much. Okay, fill up. We're gonna take it. Well, that was refreshing.
Now we had the longest climb of all week, Alpe d'Huez. It's named after the Alpe d'Huez. It's got 28 switchbacks and they're all marked with a number, going up to 1200 meters of elevation on this long climb. The refueling that we did at the aid station really worked and I started finally to feel a bit better. It was a super long climb, super narrow, very steep switchbacks all the way. That made it very, very tough.
Incline, we're at the top. Right. So fucking hot and so tough. Finally we got some water, but now I've got an hour to go to the top. Hey, water point, can you feel this? Thanks guys!
At the top, we again approached Team Ali Lili, up to the last bit and then down Cliffhanger, the Toyota Tough segment of this race. Absolutely insane bit of downhill with super steep and deep cliffs next to every turn. Definitely keep a sharp eye and don't take any necessary risks.
Whoa, yeah buddy. Wow, that was really sketchy. Really fun, but scary.
On the downhill, I rode away from Sami and at some point I had to stop. I didn't know if he was still there. I started yelling because I wasn't sure.
Sami! Sami! Are you okay? You okay?
It took a while, but luckily he made it down safe and we continued together all the way down to the finish. All downhill. In the last bit we hammered it very hard. I really started to feel like I could push again. Finally, after all those days that I wasn't feeling very strong after being sick, I felt that I started to get some energy back. A long day with nearly 5 hours of racing. We ended up in the 6th spot. 2 South African teams and Team Portugal in front of us, besides Ali Lili and Wannabe Pro Cyclist.
Just got back at the tent we have a tent. We don't sleep in the tent, but we do have a tent. GoPro battery died at the end, but the last like 10k was same as yesterday. We just went as hard as we could. Lost quite a bit of time on Team Portugal. 2 guys from Peru. They were behind us in the GC, but they were 9 minutes faster today, so they passed us. What a hard day with like the lack of water we have had in the beginning and the temperature. It was just so crazy. I mean, still super happy with our performance because I think we did really good. But anyway, I'm gonna get a cold shower, try to cool down.
I didn't find out till after the race that I had a broken spoke. The amazing thing about these spokes is that the tension, it just gets kind of redistributed over the wheel, and you can just keep riding as hard as you want without messing it up. And racing a mountain bike, it's got so many variables. Fixing little things on the bike is kind of a daily job. So I was super glad we had this mechanical team to sort it out for us, and we could just go to the Airbnb to get some recovery.
It's so hot today. I have a hard time to cool down right now, so I'm sitting in front of the fan on the coldest side of the room. Fan, and then I've got wet towels, and these are 2 bottles of ice that I put in the freezer. Just trying to cool down a little bit. Still start to feel a bit dizzy. Today was another really tough day.
I was anxious in the morning to see how my wheel turned out and if they were able to repair it. I had spare spokes with me and the required tools, but the guys at the mechanic shop had never seen these spokes before. Nevertheless, they managed to swap the damaged bird spoke, and the only thing we had to do in the morning was just tension them up a little bit more, and then they were ready to go again for another race. After getting bumped out of the 3rd place in the GC yesterday, we had one mission today, one goal, and that's to gain back time on Team Portugal and grab back that 3rd place in the GC. Stage 5 was the last stage in Wellington before we'd shuttle to Stellenbosch for the last 2 stages of this competition. It was a relatively short stage with 70 kilometers and only 1750 meters of climb. On paper, this was the easiest stage of the 2024 Cape Epic, but it turned out to be a fast stage with lots of wider roads to start with. It almost started at a criterium pace. Really my kind of racing, and I was feeling great today. Kind of the first day that I felt strong after a very hard and sometimes frustrating week. Sami and I managed to position really well in the front and the back today. With the roller coaster trail, we had great fun on the first longer downhill. Finally some smooth rolling, flowy trails to sail down.
Here we go, guys.
Just over an hour in the race, we lost connection with the first group and we had to pace ourselves for the rest of the day. I was feeling way stronger than before, but today was the first time that Sammy actually seemed to be struggling a bit more than I was. For me, this was an opportunity to finally do some work and ride on the front to pay back for the previous 4 days of drafting his wheel. I was so sucked up in the race, I just wanted to close the gap, but had to consider my teammate mindfully pacing himself not to blow up with 2 big stages to go after this one.
We must try to close it back up. There's an elite guy in front there. He's pushing really hard. And the Portuguese guys are not here, so we rotate. Come on guys, rotate!
At the feed zones we stopped, just like in all previous stages. It was hot again today, and just like each other stage, we're not just thinking about today. We hydrate and refuel for today, but certainly also for tomorrow.
Come on, let's go!
The key to maintain performance on a multi-day event is proper nutrition and not to get behind on calories, carbs or hydration over the days, or you will not be able to perform. During this week, just like in all my other stage races that I did for Haute Route, I was planning my fuel with Eat My Ride, an app that I've been using for a few years now, and it allows you to track your calories throughout the day. It's hooked up to your head unit, so it uses your power or heart rate data to calculate how much carbohydrates you're actually burning, and this will allow you to fuel in a proper way every single day.
Are you okay? Yeah. Great. Rich!
And today in the race we saw some South African teams also in the mix. Teams that we had not seen this far up front before. They were now flying and maybe looking to get a stage podium on their home grounds. It was a bit of a cat and mouse with some teams along the way. Also, some teams with the hydration packs, they would stop less than us. So after the feed zones we would have to close that gap again.
Each day in the Cape Epic is really a race on its own. Every day you can get onto the podium for a stage win or a second or a third place. But for us, we were looking at the bigger picture, and that was the GC. At this moment, we're racing for the final classification. And by stopping at these rest stops, we will lose some time. But this way we can manage to keep up our performance day by day. So for the long run, for the entire week of racing, that's the best strategy in my opinion. Right now we just got passed by another South African team, but they're way below us in the GC, so it's not a big threat to us. We just want to keep our own pace and go as hard as we can, because that's what we agreed on, right? As hard as we can. And we're still ahead of Team Portugal, so as long as we can manage our performance and keep it up, we might just get back that third place in the GC.
10K to go. Most of it will be downhill.
Finished with a very long climb and the daily Toyota tough section as the final descent. Before we had a few kilometers of flat towards the finish where we absolutely hammered it. We flew past two of those South African teams and made up some good time on the other teams we battled in the GC. A 5th spot today, but a massive time gain actually on Team Portugal. So that put us back in the 3rd place in the GC. So we're back on the podium. I felt super strong today, and finally I felt like I was over my effects of that fever, and I was super keen for the last 2 races.
I'm glad I could do some work today. Good job.
So after a post-ride meal and a cold shower to cool down, we got into the bus to Stellenbosch, the final location of this 8-day stage race.
Right, we arrived in Stellenbosch with the bus, picked up our laundry. That's the last laundry bit for the last 2 stages. Sami booked a super nice hotel really close by, so we're gonna be sleeping in a nice bed. Can't wait for tomorrow, day after, get this shit done, finish strong. We're still in 3rd in the GC after stage 5. Back in 3rd, I should say, because yesterday we dropped to 4th. Really strong ride today, really my style, was really fun. Tomorrow it looks like another hard day, but yeah, there's no easy days here.
The next morning was the first race starting in Stellenbosch, and everything changed. It was wet, cold and dark at the start.
It's 20 minutes to the start. Today we are at stage 6 for last stage, and it's a lot colder and it's a lot wetter. It's raining at the moment, so it's actually quite cold. So it's gonna be another tough day.
Going into the pen right now.
And remember, as we've reminded you every day this week, you are gladiators. 20 seconds to go. Stand by for your countdown.
Stage 6, 97 kilometers, 2300 meters of climbing. Lots of new single track today as we are in Stellenbosch, a new location, and the start and finish of the last 2 stages.
3, 2, 1, go! The next couple, right forward,
It started off cold and wet, and it was a complete transformation from the prior days. Some parts became slippery and it was a search for enough grip sometimes. The pace again was super high in the first hour and we managed to keep up very good position in the race. The first climb was long, steep and difficult. I got behind a little bit, but Sami kept going towards the front, and this played out perfectly.
Samen een stukje voor me. Dat was een gaatje in de klim. Dat ging mooi door. En een snelle afdaling, nu ben ik weer bijna bij. Cool!
So after quite a bit of chasing in that descent, we finally caught back up with Sami, my teammate. So the reason why this played out so well is because I was slower on the climb. But Sami in general is a bit slower on the descent. So if he would have waited for me on the climb and I had to wait for him on the descent, we would definitely be slower than now, where he would go full gas on the climb and I could go full gas on the descent and join him at the bottom.
You okay?
At this moment, we only have the Wannabe Pro Cycling Latvian team in front of us, so we're riding in second place. Of course, we've got Pavel and Tobias, but they're in the Masters category, as you can see with their blue bib numbers. So definitely we're gonna go full gas to maybe get a second spot on today's stage. We're also making time on Team Portugal to solidify our third spot in the GC. So far a good race, but we're only like an hour in, so we still have a long way to go.
Lots of audience in this race. There was super close to the city of Stellenbosch, so that made it lots of fun to have all these people cheering us on.
Trails are impacted a little bit because of the moist. That's nice. Swiss team and Peru are right there.
Sami crashed. We were pushing hard to keep that second spot, and on one of these slippery bridges he wiped out. He was behind me, so I didn't see it, but I heard him scream quite hard. So I looked back, I saw him get back on his bike, so I continued riding, and later I checked on how he was doing.
Did you hurt yourself?
That was a complete wet bridge wipe up. Nothing, no problems.
Okay.
I can tell. Well, I got my first.
Welcome to Team Scraped Up.
Yeah, oh my god.
You're still here, man. Yeah. Straight is always shortest.
Sami was okay, we could keep on going. The crash obviously cost us some time, so Team Aleli caught back up with us and we started riding with them. This went okay until we hit this super difficult rocky trail. It was technical with pointy rocks everywhere. I couldn't keep my speed, and that's where we lost it again. After a quick stop at the feed zone, we were back in time trial mode again. At this moment we're at the 4th position with Wannabe Pro Cyclist, Team Alili, and then the South African team, and then us. Each day is still a race to get on that podium. Another 3rd spot in the stage would be awesome, besides just racing as fast as we can for the GC. Every day since now we've been beaten by Team Alili, but also every day we caught up with them and got very close near the end of the race. So if we can keep up our performance, maybe today we could pass them just before the finish. Who knows? Anything can happen.
Narrow trails. I can't really take my eyes off the trail, but pretty sure the view is pretty awesome. Clouds are going away a little bit. I keep going. Really steep.
Just Sami and I going as hard as we could. I was feeling great today. I could finally push hard and I really felt like I could do some work for the team. Getting close to the last big climb that started on tarmac and then continued on to single track.
15k to go. Last climb. African team. One guy's pushing the other.
We overtook a South African team that we've been playing cat and mouse with all day.
Thanks,
and
guys.
then we got very close again
Go,
to
go.
Team Alili.
Yeah. Whenever it's possible, take it easy. No risk. Great. Sportsmanship.
The Doctor descent was super fun, super smooth and super fast. It ended in an actual bike park with jumps, and dude, I was having so much fun, but also I had to be mindful of the fatigue that we were in right now, being in stage 6, and be careful not to crash.
The last few kilometers, again we could see the Swiss guys and we were going all out to catch him and maybe get a second spot in this stage.
The bells ring, the voices are raised, the applause is real. In celebration of the next teams, Sami Ikonen and Jasper Verkuijl, Team Verkuijl. Well done, Tommy, well done, Jasper.
Oh shit!
We finished just behind them in 4 hours 24 on the third spot, and again gaining time on Team Portugal, so further securing our third spot in the GC.
Thank you, thank you.
Just finished stage 6. Really good result. We got third in the stage, and I think we self the race tomorrow. We kind of secured our place in GC. So that's really awesome. I'm just eating. Today was a wet day, so right now it's actually cold. So quickly getting in some food, and then dropping the bike at the mechanics and taking a shower.
That was probably the first hot shower that I took all week. Such a difference from the rest of the week where we were overheated all day and just struggling to cool down. With another third in the stage, we went to the prize giving ceremony that day. There was one for each day actually, but unfortunately until now we missed them because logistically it was just too difficult for us to attend, as we were not sleeping near the Cape Epic villages in the other locations. Now, with our hotel in walking distance in Stellenbosch, we could finally join the party and practice a little bit for tomorrow, for the last stage and the battle for the GC. I've said this before, but the finish is the finish, and until then everything can happen. Let's get ready for stage 7, the 8th consecutive day of racing, the final battle, the last race, 65 kilometers and 2,000 meters of climbing with lots of single track. It was a zigzag of climbs and descents with a spectacular last descent into Stellenbosch, where we would finally know if we would be able to call ourselves finishers of the Untamed, finishers of the Cape Epic 2024. And if it all goes well today without anything crazy, we may just get the third spot in the GC of the amateur man. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Today it wasn't cold, it wasn't raining like yesterday, and the forecasted temperature weren't extreme as we had in the rest of the week. With only 65k left of this week of racing, it was going to be fast. From the gun it was uphill and at least 10 kilometers to the first stop, heading towards Jonkershoek Valley. We could position ourselves well, and on the first climb we were pretty much at the front, with an interesting situation. Team Portugal was on fire today. They were ahead of us, but Team Alili, who's
way ahead of us in the GC, they dropped off behind us. It was a big gap in the GC, but you never know, so I absolutely buried myself with Sami in my wheel to ride back to the leading group out here. This was an attempt to gain time on the Swiss guys.
Two more. You too, man. I love you, man. Sorry for pushing it.
The race not over till it's over, and even a second spot in the GC is not impossible for us. Unfortunately, a few minutes later we got stuck on the single track. On the climb towards the summit, we ran into the pro women's riders again. And this just slowed us down completely. It was like a traffic jam again, and all of the other riders behind us, they caught up. So yeah, I just burned a match for nothing.
We were going full gas on the first climb, getting a good gap until we hit a group of ladies. So now we are in one long line behind them. Super narrow, pace slowed down completely, and everyone is back caught up behind us. So it is a super nice trail. And at the top we're gonna go down Armageddon. It's a single track descent.
On the Armageddon downhill, it was the same. We got stuck behind some slower riders and basically did a touristic downhill. At least it was a lot safer than going full send. Arm pump from all the braking was absolutely killing me, and I could barely hold onto the bars by the time we got down. For the next climb and the descent, it was kind of similar. Where we could, we floored it to get past a few riders, and then we got stuck again. Unfortunately, we lost connection with Team Portugal as they were super strong today, but we're still ahead of Team Alili, so full gas when we could.
59 minutes, second climb. Simon's right behind me, trying to maintain good position for the second descent.
Okay, second descent is done. We're approaching the third climb. Two South African teams are overtaking us right now. That's Team Altitude Wealth and Kiwi Pedal Cartel. It's okay, we're still leading in the GC and we're still in front of Team Alili. Rolling through the feed zone right here at 23 kilometers and then reconnecting with the leading riders of the Masters category, Karplat and Thomas. These are very, very fast guys, and I'm trying to go as fast as possible so it's manageable for us both. Sami's been amazing all week. He's been dragging me along for all these days over all these trails. Now it's finally time for me to pay back these bills. I feel like I've got extra energy. I'm dragging Sami up the climb, trying to push him to go as fast as possible, and man, he is so strong, so he just keeps on going, but he also knows where his limits are, so he can very finally tell me like, okay, now you need to slow down a little bit, I need to catch breath, or you can push 10 watts more or 20 watts more, and this way we could just go as fast as possible throughout the entire day. And on the descent, we could finally ride at our own pace. A very long, super cool descent on the never-ending story trail.
Right.
We're coming down the fire hut, another great descent. The descents and the trails in this area were so different from all the other trails of the rest of the week. They're more manicured, way more flowy, less rocks, so it was so much more fun to ride than some of the other trails we've been doing this week. And these descents, these downhills, I just enjoyed it a lot. At the same time, the views are off the charts, but we're so focused on the trail, so I'm seeing all these views now that I'm editing these videos. It's very, very difficult for me to cut out the best pieces because all these descents, all these climbs are so awesome. So I'm trying to make a good story here, cutting out and make it watchable, but I'm also gonna do longer pieces of every single day where I'm just talking you guys through all my footage. So that's gonna be longer videos, and you're gonna see more of these descents, more of the climbs, and more of the whole tactics that actually played out during this race, because I can't tell you everything in these short recaps. It's gonna take a while for me to edit those, but they will be on the channel. Right now, we're chased by Team Ali Lili. They're actually coming right at our tail in this descent, and we're gonna be riding with them after we get down. With a short and steep climb and a twisty steep descent together, and then started racing towards the final kilometers of this race. By this time, I was so done with this race, all the suffering, all the shitty rocks, all the routes we had to go over all week, and the last couple climbs were again on these difficult trails full of rocks, full of freaking tree roots, and I just wanted to get to the finish.
cycling.
We lost the Swiss guys on the last climb. It was Sami and I together again. The last descent was super fun, super fast, with some banks, some jumps and some super flowy downhill.
I think we emptied the tank pretty good this week, bro. Oh yeah. It was amazing. We celebrated the finish. Nice work, bro. 5K.
We'll start on the main stage.
This was for sure the hardest week of cycling I had in my life. But was it worth it? Sami and I made it. We tamed the untamed. We raced our hearts out for 8 days straight and we became Cape Epic finishers.
Thank you. Thanks, man. Fucking awesome, though. Yeah. We did it. We did it.
And not only that, we got way much more out of it than we could expect beforehand. We finished the 613 kilometers across South Africa with a total time of 30 hours and 18 minutes and in the 3rd place overall in the amateur men 19 and over category. Sami and I stayed friends, I could return home safe and sound and I got some banger videos of racing the Epic. And now to the question, if I do it over again? Well, I first have to take care of a few little things.